again with another.
Picking up all this shit. Alright, that's kind of weird. Alright, I'm telling this and I gotta roll. Still kind of dropped it, that's picking up. Mic check, mic check. Yo, if y'all can hear me, put one in the chat. All right. All right, so we live right now. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Magnum. This is the Vibez Lounge podcast. I'm also the host of the Classic Crush Gaming Event Series. Tonight we're talking about the Black community and business ethics. Sorry for the delay. I just got some new equipment in, and I was just testing it out. And I have a special guest with me as well. So we'll be getting into tonight's topic shortly, but before I do want to give a shout out to everyone who showed love and support so far. To all the new subscribers, including Jay, Jarius Reed, Wounded Wisdom, and others who've tapped in over the last few days. I really do appreciate you. Before we get into that, also make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment box letting us know what you think and any topics that would pique your interest that you want us to talk about. Let's see. Oh, I'm supposed to give a shout out to someone, God, I forgot his name. I met this dude earlier. He's a veteran in Army Ranger. We were chopping it up for a good while earlier, and he wanted to give some feedback and some insight on some things on the channel. So I wanted to give him a shout out, but he said he was going to leave a comment, but we'll see. Shout out to all the first responders, all the emergency service workers, all the stockers, nurses, everybody who's up late, keeping everything going while we getting settled in for the night. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, shout out to the truck drivers too. Y'all driving over the road. Salute to y'all. So tonight's topic is about the Black community and business, enterprising, ethics. Let me turn this music down a little bit. One thing before we do that, we're gonna take a brief break. Y'all grab y'all popcorn, y'all drinks, your smoke, check on the kids, walk the dog, whatever you gotta do. We're gonna take a brief commercial break and we'll be right back. All right, thank you for joining the stream. Really appreciate you. We are back, and for those of you who don't know and first time joining the channel, I am Magnum, your host of the Vibez podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get this popping. Today we're gonna be talking about the Black community and business, and I'm gonna pull up a few videos that we're gonna be reacting to, including some from African Diaspora News Channel, Pink Book Lessons, Anton Daniels Network, and others. I'll just be giving my take on a lot of these things. I have a lot of experience in the business world, from business consulting down to market research and more. So I'm pretty versed in what it takes to bring that best out of a business, and I can see where a lot of businesses go wrong as well. My goal is to bring light to those things so we can be better educated and make better business decisions. All right, first I'm gonna pull up a clip from African Diaspora News Channel, and we're gonna react to that.
Tweet from an Asian woman, Diane Yap. I did a story about her once before, but she seems to be really fixated on the Black community. Now, she was responding to someone who was responding to someone else who made a statement, I'm paraphrasing, about Asian restaurant owners catching rats and, using them in the restaurant. And then the person that Diane was responding to said, well, that'd be such a bad business model because in essence, it's cheaper to just buy chicken than it would be to go around catching rats, to serve up and all of that. And so Diane said this, right, no wonder they have to rely on Asian-run businesses in their neighborhoods if this is any indication of their business sense. So
Ouch.
she's basically justifying why Asians need to be in our community and that we rely heavily on them and that we have no business sense. Well, let's keep it a buck, Diane. We know why you guys are in our neighborhood because y'all know, and I kind of agree with her to some degree on certain things, but she knows that it's easy money. They know they can set up shop in our communities. They don't have to do a whole lot of advertising because we are just going to go in there, right? And also, we know that there's not a lot of other options in Black neighborhoods like Black grocery stores and a whole lot of good Black restaurants and clothing shops and just all the other stuff that we would need to survive, right? So they set up shop in there. And the other thing, Diane, that you were not mentioning is y'all people come over here and y'all get a whole lot of help, whether it's governmental loans.
Yeah, let me stop right there. She's telling the truth on a lot of things, from the lack of business sense in the community, as well as the way that immigrant and other minority communities are financed. They get a lot of grants and help and subsidies from the federal government that we don't even know exist. So they come into our communities when we already don't know what we're doing. We don't know how to run a business. We don't have the financial acumen or the resources to access funding to help support these businesses. And other communities come in, other immigrant communities come in and take advantage of that vacuum. They're doing what's necessary to capitalize and take care of their families, but at the same time, they're also aware that they're taking advantage of a community that's kind of been disenfranchised for several decades.
Just favor in general, right? The government looks favorably on y'all and they help y'all succeed in addition to giving y'all bills specifically for y'all, right? So as far as our business sense, yeah, there's a little truth to it, but it's not as much true as it is for the people in your community that don't have good business sense, right? Now, we should have businesses in our community, and I think that we would if, for one, we are not still suffering rather from the results of slavery. Now, I know some people are saying, well, slavery has been over a long time ago, but if you follow Dr. Joy DeGroot, she talks about post-traumatic slave syndrome and that we are still suffering the effects from slavery, right? And so we don't have the unity that you have, Diane, in your community where you guys can practice group economics and all those other things. And so there's a lot more going on than y'all have to just set up.
She brings up a really good point right there. Me, myself, I've worked with several other potential business owners, and I can speak from personal experience that it is not always easy to work with black people, especially when they're first coming into money. They have no idea how hard it really is to keep it, let alone grow it. So when you try to tell them something's going down the wrong road, once they have a little bit of money in their hands, it's kind of hard to tell them anything. And we don't have the same level of community and cooperation between the people who know what they're doing and the people who don't. So the people who don't know what they're doing don't have someone to go to who knows what they're doing, who they look up to and respect. Because that's one thing about us. If we don't respect somebody, if we don't look up to them, if we don't think that there's somebody that we can strive to be like, we'll think that they don't have anything to offer us. They can't tell us nothing. When a lot of people can teach you things even if they're not in a position that you desire to be in. But that's something we still need to learn. That's something we picked up from being disenfranchised and learning how to, it's a negative character trait that we picked up trying to keep ourselves from feeling so low. So we learn how to find flaws in other people in order to make ourselves look better.
Shop in our neighborhood and we rely on y'all. First of all, some of the stuff y'all have in our neighborhood, in fact, I would venture to say most of it is not good for us, and you know it. And as I said too, no shade to anybody, just me personally, now living in the South, I never really heard of a chicken and rice house until I got to the South, and they're kind of like everywhere. So I asked somebody, I'm like, well, what's going on with the chicken and rice house? And they said, oh, they give you a whole bunch of chicken and rice, and it's really cheap. And I'm like, people eating there? Because I'm not one of those cheap food, especially when you give me a lot of it. Now, I'm not saying that they're serving, rats or anything like that. That I am not saying. But even if it's chicken, it's like, is it quality food? I would venture to say it's not quality food, because if it was, then they would bump up the price on that stuff, and they wouldn't be giving you a whole, tray full where you couldn't even close the tray up. And so, again, Diane is speaking about things she has no knowledge of, but I tell you what, Diane, if you have a problem with anything that's going on in the black community, you should tell your people, close up shop and go serve chicken and rice in your neighborhoods. So anyway, y'all tell me what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel.
So, as you can see, a lot of different immigrant communities come here with the specific goal of moving into lower income black neighborhoods, setting up shop, basically running a slum type organization where everything is low quality, low budget, just substandard. And I can attest to that in several hoods that I've been in, where I can go from one side of the neighborhood and the same immigrant family can own a gas station in a nice part of town, and it looks like it's just been built yesterday. Then you got the rundown corner stores in the poor black communities, and it looks like they haven't touched this building in 70 years. So, but a lot of it has to do with our fault. our lack of awareness on how to invest in ourselves, how to cooperate enough to build a business, a successful, thriving business, because it's not something that we can't do. We can, which is something I find weird. Why we don't have our own drawers yet? Like we don't have our own underclothes. Why we don't have our own bra and panties, something like that. Not for me personally, but for the ladies. And things like that. We need to have our own grocery stores. We know black people who raise chickens and grow vegetables and things like that. Why we can't put that in a grocery store? There's a lot of things that we can do if we work together, but it really requires effort beyond just hoping and praying. It actually takes like real sacrifice. Before I get into our next segment, we're gonna take a brief break, non-commercial break. Y'all can do what you gotta do. Check on your pot roast in the oven or whatever you do, and we'll be right back.
No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
The moments for those who
All right, we are back. If y'all can hear me, put a one in the chat. All right, and for those of y'all who don't know, I am your host, Magnum. This is the Vibez Lounge podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We really do appreciate everyone who has been showing love and support so far. Make sure y'all continue to tap in and show your love and support. Share this with your friends, family, and we're going to get into part 2 of the Vibez Lounge podcast series. This is episode 2, the Black community and business, about ethics and best practices. So earlier we were talking about, we were giving a reaction to African diaspora news channels' take on immigrants' perspective on our business practices. Next, I'm going to go into a show from Pink Book Lessons that goes into some of the practices that we may want to avoid. And while it's running, I'll pause it every once in a while to give my feedback and my perspective on it.
If you came to me for an Airbnb, what the fuck make you think that money ain't spent? So if I ain't spend the money and you think the money just sitting in my account, then you participated in the scam.
That's Janae White. Some know her as Credit Goddess. She also calls herself the GOAT. Of what exactly, that's yet to be determined. But according to people on Facebook, she's being accused of stealing from them. So they believe she's the GOAT of scamming, or the donkey of scamming, because they have been clowning this woman, comparing her to a donkey. These folks are very angry at Janae, many claiming to have invested thousands of dollars with her and did not get the returns promised. In fact, a lot of her investors said they didn't even get a dime back. She was able to attract folks to her business, promoting herself as a mother of 2 that owned at least 50 Airbnbs and 8 businesses.
Shout out to Queen Janae White, who owns over 50 Airbnbs and just...
All right, chat. So if you don't know who that is on the screen right now, who's giving this lady her props, stay tuned. Let's proceed.
got awarded by Florida as a certified affordable housing minority builder contractor with J. White Construction. Owns over 8 businesses and a nonprofit. Queen, you are not just Black excellence, you are excellence done by a Black woman.
What a coincidence. How is it that these folks accused of scamming are always promoting other folks accused of scamming?
Yo, you need to hear her say that again. She just said, how do scammers always end up promoting other scammers? Birds of a feather flock together. So if you see one scammer, you're gonna see you're gonna see a flock of them. That's just how it works.
I don't know, but Janae is in big trouble. At least 50 police reports were filed in Duval County regarding Janae's business, and now the GOAT has scrubbed her pages on social media. Take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Much love to everybody watching from Duval. If you're from the area, drop Duval below in the comments. Before Janae White, or Jay White, was promoted as a successful online business guru, she put in 10 years at the state as a social worker and later a fraud investigator. And that was for the state, as in the state of Florida, the Department of Children and
So that's what we doing now, family. We got a woman who is well-versed in social services and a fraud investigator. Yo, when, like, she got the perfect background for this. Let's proceed.
And Families, DCF. She also worked as an auditor in the accounting department at UPS. Side note, all of that is crazy. She worked as an auditor and a fraud investigator, and she's being accused of fraud? Yeah, that's why she went on Facebook cursing everybody out. You know, just a normal day for a Florida flamingo.
In there, kiki and sharing, and the same people who used to be begging me to help them, same people who owe me money. It's so many people in this city I done put hundreds of thousands of dollars in their pocket. It's nobody should be questioning me and who the I am. I got a partnership with Mercedes-Benz. Come on, investigate it. Baby daddy probably in jail. Why your credit bad? Investigate that. Do the fraud.
One thing you gotta be careful of is people who start off with, "Do you know who I am?" Or they come with that kind of energy. Like, because they've done something, they're above scrutiny. They're above being under the microscope. Nobody's above scrutiny. Nobody's above criticism. Ask the president.
Pay your bills. Pay your bills, you wouldn't need credit repair. You probably doing food stamp fraud right now. I used to work for the food stamp office.
Yo, I don't know if y'all know this, but what she doing right now is called self-incrimination. Instead of saying silent on a topic, she's going on social media and telling everything that she's done. So anything that can be used in a court of law, she's basically saying it right here on this live stream. So if anything comes out, she can't deny it because she ended up saying it on this live stream. And if it can be used to be tied into anything that she did criminally or illegally, she's got herself saying it on camera.
I'm gonna have my friend look you up Monday. You probably doing food stamp fraud right mother. You probably on Section 8. No, because this what they want, and this what they gonna get.
Do you hear the man in the background telling her to stop going back and forth with people on social media? It was.
Yo, what they call that in the hood? Selling wolf tickets. So you got an entrepreneur, a business owner who claims to own 50 properties, who's threatening somebody on social media to hunt them down and investigate them for like food stamp fraud. Not a good look.
Wasn't a good look. And I heard him say that several times, but this masculine, out of control boss chick would not listen. When the man said stop talking, going back and forth with people, you should have listened to him, because not only did she make herself look like a fool, she was saying some stuff that can be used against her in this investigation, and this level of defiance gives way more energy to the victims to fight you. You know, what's really silly is, I believe that guy in the background is her man. And you have the victims out of thousands and thousands of dollars. They're looking for justice. So they're hoping that one, the feds pick this up, and two, they hit you with a real estate RICO. And if that happens, it's gonna be the same man you end up throwing under the bus. But I digress. Now, apparently, she never had any real estate experience, but started getting more into the business during the pandemic of 2020. She also ended up starting a credit repair business.
Janae is the CEO of J. White Credit University, and I thought it'd be just a good opportunity to recap your background and your company. So tell us a little bit about your company.
So basically, J. White Credit University, it was created to go around and educate the community on financial literacy, credit education.
So the name of this organization is J. White Credit University. Anybody remember Trump University? Anybody remember Andrew Tate? Didn't he have a university too? Let's proceed.
How to get loans from banks, and basically how to leverage credit to create generational wealth.
And why did you come up with this idea, this concept for a business?
Because I had bad credit at 18 years old. I was very, very ignorant on the subject of credit, and it made life very, very hard for me. So I didn't want other people in my community to go through the same challenges that I went through at a young age.
The story she told.
Hey, everybody in the chat, if you've ever had bad credit, if you ever had bad credit in your life, put a 1 in the chat. If your parents taught you better, put a 2 in the chat.
It was pretty standard for people selling credit repair services. It was given Ashley Grayson. Remember the other woman who made millions from her credit repair business? Her customers too started accusing her of scamming them. Then she put a hit out on 3 people and didn't get charged by the FBI until summer 2023. If you missed that passion.
All right, family. So what are we doing out here? Well, we scamming people, and when we get exposed, we putting hits out on people, and have absolute. Like, did y'all get y'all cues from Empire or something? Like who taught y'all how to run a business? Did y'all get who raised you?
/ Young and the Restless episode. Check it out after this video here. The link is in the description. But this interview right here was from 2021. At the time, she was really pushing her credit repair business, selling personal and business credit counseling. Now, they said she had 8 businesses. Other businesses include marketing, concrete, construction, real estate flipping homes, and running Airbnb rentals. Recently, she was also promoting tax preparation services. Then she got more of the prime time attention that she wanted when she was featured on the local news in Jacksonville, but not for a good reason.
New at 6 tonight, we are learning new details tonight in the case of a prominent entrepreneur in Jacksonville.
Janae White is the CEO of 8 businesses and owns 50 Airbnbs. We do need to change the graphic at the bottom of the screen. That's incorrect. She's facing serious allegations of fraud for what some call bad business practices.
Jasmine Monroe has been on your side.
Before we go any further, I know this is kind of petty, but look at that lady hairdo.
Learning why 2 friends are battling it out in court.
These allegations are simply not true. I have so many positive stories.
She's delusional. It's too much of a paper trail.
That lady was like, I got all this, I got all that, and they just cut to this other lady like, she delusional. So basically, you can kind of tell who has a more grounded sense just from those 2 perspectives that you just heard. If you listen closely, you can tell who's more grounded just by the tone of voice and the inflection if you're listening closely.
Trail to deny it at this point.
2 sides, once friends, now foes. Rayvon Griffin describes her experience with well-known entrepreneur Janae White as a total disappointment after she said she was scammed for more than $10,000 from White's bad business practices.
It's too many records. It's too many text messages. It's too many emails. It's too many signed contracts.
Griffin, a silent partner, says she, along with several investors, were led to believe they received properties for renovation and sale, only to find promises unfulfilled.
And she's very good at avoiding questions and avoiding the truth, and that's when I realized I had to take a step back.
But White says that she never scammed her clients. This is just the ugly side of business investments.
I really think the news be doing this on purpose. But do you see that angle? Wait, hold on, let me see if I can pull that back. Can I pull this back? Yep. All right, Chad. What do y'all see right here? Just, if you see what I see, just write it in the chat.
She never scammed her clients. This is just the ugly side of business investments.
Unfortunately, this is a horrible side of business. I have lost millions of dollars doing these ventures, bringing people with me. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars in chargebacks from people who stole from my company after they received profits.
Didn't see that one coming. While she's on the news being confronted about scamming her friend and other people, this boss chick with 8 businesses and claiming to own over 50 Airbnbs, we'll get into that in a second, but she's on the news saying that she didn't scam anybody. Instead, they scammed her. She's referring to the people who paid her anywhere from $6,500, and the highest transaction on this list right here is $16,000. She's saying that they paid her for one of her high-ticket services. She gave them the service, and they called their credit card company to dispute the transaction. Now you have folks saying that she's the one who scammed them, so they're saying they called their credit card companies because they got scammed. But Janae flipped it and made herself the victim.
A Facebook group with over 9.4 thousand clients was created to garner awareness in the alleged scam. But Janae says some of the things people are saying is simply not true.
I hate those allegations. I hate that people are referencing that with my name. I absolutely had 52 Airbnbs.
Yo, chat. Oh my God, my bad. All right, so how people make an entire Facebook group with hundreds of people saying that you scammed them and you got chargebacks. I think I've probably maybe been scammed on my credit card once. And I'm really skeptical of making purchases with any credit cards, anything like that. For people to go and pay $7,000, $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 to have faith in you to fix their credit, to repair their credit, to give them counseling on credit, it really doesn't even cost that much to get that kind of information and to fix your credit. So maybe it's just me, but it does seem like there's something else involved in that, because the amount that she's charging doesn't seem to reflect the services rendered. And if it has anything to do with the Airbnbs and the purchases and the renovations and things like that, like I say, always get receipts, always get documentation. If somebody don't get documentation, call the marshals. Hey, let's proceed.
And that is what people were investing in. My company.
Jacksonville attorney Chris Dempsey is now representing these investors. He tells us Griffin's case may just be the tip of the iceberg and well over $200,000 scam.
It's growing by the day. It's growing in magnitude, and it's egregious and disturbing to me, and really sad that this has happened in our community by somebody who is not unknown.
Griffin says she was fortunate that she was financially stable to bounce back, but some people lost it all.
People who have lost tens of thousands of dollars. Like, this is no small amount of money.
As for White,
I do not want a few complaints or a few allegations to diminish all of the good that I have done in my community, especially without people hearing my side of the story.
I don't know. I think it's more than $200,000. One, you have dozens of people coming out saying they were scammed, either with the credit repair service, the home flipping, the Airbnb business, and a done-for-you drop shipping business. On top of that, she did not own those Airbnbs. She was paying rent to the owners. So she's got a bunch of cases where she's in debt to those owners for that rent. So yeah, I definitely believe it's closer to $1 million than $200,000. One man alone says he was scammed out of $56,000.
Tonight, more people are coming forward saying that they have been scammed out of thousands of dollars by a Jacksonville businesswoman. One man who started a Facebook group about the alleged fraud wants Janae White to be held accountable, and he's helping connect potential victims with investigators. Riley Phillips is on your side tonight, joining us live from downtown Jacksonville with an update on this situation.
Yes, Buddy Wilson says he invested $56,000 into Airbnbs through Janae White's businesses. Buddy says he hasn't received that money back, and now he doesn't even think those Airbnbs actually exist.
Ashley Buddy Wilson owns a landscaping business in Jacksonville and was looking to expand his portfolio.
He met Janae White back in March of 2023 and decided to invest in rental properties through one of her companies.
So I started giving them more money and I kind of spread it out. I was calling them every week, going by there, make sure the office didn't disappear, make sure there was somebody there.
Wilson says everything was fine until his rental units went live and he was supposed to get paid.
Things went out the window as soon as I started getting those profit loss and it was time to get paid, and there was no communication, no specific answers, no accountability, just...
All right, Jess, so y'all can't just say that she was just scamming black people. She had this dude nose wide open, bruh. 56K in investments. I could not imagine $56,000 in investments just sitting there. You know this person sitting there playing with you.
It's passing me back and forth type of situation.
Wilson says some of the paperwork he received was not correct, but White and her associates were not forthcoming with information. After months of not getting answers, he turned to Facebook, creating a group that gained more than 12,000 members in just a few weeks.
I see this group as, hopefully a place for these people to speak up, get the resources that they need to make sure that they can try to get their money back.
White sat down with First Coast News last week and denied these claims, but she received more backlash after posting a video, which has since been deleted, saying people are not getting their money back.
You ain't getting your money back.
Wilson says he has now verified more than 50 victims, and he has passed.
So our female entrepreneurs out here gangsters now. Yo, that's something I used to hear when I was like 12 years old. A dude run up on me, I go to the store and get some candy or something. I come out the store with my change and he'd be like, let me get that $1 from you. And I'd be like, you gonna give it back? He gonna be like, you ain't gonna get your money back. That sounds like something I dealt with when I was like 12 years old. I don't know how that feels, a grown ass man. I give you 56K. I give you $56,000 and you look me in my face and say, you ain't getting your money back. As a grown ass man, I can't picture that. But let's see what he had to say about it.
Along their information to investigators. He just wants to help people get their money back and see White be held accountable.
It's really bad, and that's why I'm going to stick through with it. And everybody has pretty much given me their support and has been there with me one-on-one. I have no doubt that this is going to be taken care of.
Ooh, trigger tease. Ooh, you know you wrong. How is it the one unit that a lot of people are sharing is one of the units that's being evicted right now? Now, I don't know if y'all been on court or not today, but I've been balancing between one scam and the next. But why, all of a sudden, all these evictions is happening? Trigger thief? Like, explain to me, right? You the credit goddess, you the Airbnb guru, you know it from head to toe, people making profits, some people making losses. But all of a sudden, we go to court, and you being evicted from everyone, it seems. Now,
I don't know who this person is, but I would definitely hire whoever this is. Whoever this girl is nosy enough to make sure that you ain't gonna lose a penny. I don't know how she found this information. I don't know what she doing with her life. But somebody need to hire her to make sure that all the books is straight. Like, if she could be like the bookkeeper for the black community, whoever this girl is, we need to hire her for the black community to be the bookkeeper.
what really stood out to me, and y'all already know because I said at the beginning of the video, but I decided that I was just gonna go through and try to do a little bit of comparison. You know what I'm saying? Compare contracts to whichever units is being evicted, and guess which one popped up first? I found this lawsuit here. The Galleria Club Rental Community against Luigi's Concrete and More LLC, authorized by who? Trigger teeth. And just in case y'all don't believe me, because y'all know how y'all get. Oh, it doesn't say. Damn. 8680 Bay Meadows Road East, apartment 1316 in Jacksonville, Florida. But look at this. She made a short-term rental investment with one, Jennifer Davis, for 8680 Bay Meadows Road, apartment 1316. Here's another one, Megan Dragwitz, 8680 apartment 1316. And Mr. Buddy, Wilson Towers LLC, same one, same apartment number. Now, after my boss and me as her assistant was going through the documents on court, Janae actually signed this lease for August 2022, right? But the lawsuit was filed October the 9th, 2023. And anybody who knows how apartment complexes work is you get a month, right? You pay the rent. If it's late, I think they'll let you go another month. Once you're late after that, that's when they start filing lawsuits. But follow me. But if you were failing to pay your rent and you were served on September the 6th, 2023 for delay and default of paying your rent on time, why was you still out here sending P&Ls and telling them if you have an amount listed on the loss line, please be sure to have your payment fully submitted by Thursday, September the 14th.
And for those of you who don't remember, Sherelle is the same woman that exposed Ashley Grayson. Ashley was so mad at her that she put a hit out on her and 2 other people. Again, if you missed...
So, the girl who's I'm gonna call her the bookkeeper. So this chick got exposed by the bookkeeper and put a hit out on her. If you was doing business the right way in the first place, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Do business ethically, do business responsibly. Take it seriously and treat it like it's not worth losing. It's not worth it to get caught up in a scam thinking that you're gonna make it, because they always just give you enough rope to hang yourself. Just don't do it. Avoid scamming. Do it legitimately. I know it doesn't come as easy. It's not a 30-minute episode of Empire and then all of a sudden you're a millionaire. That's not how it works. You actually got to put in the work day in, day out. You got to expect to fail. It's going to happen unless you just a god at the game. But if you're not, you just got to expect to fail. But that doesn't stop you from pushing forward and learning from your mistakes and then trying again until you succeed. If you decide that when you fail, you're going to give up and then you go back to scamming, you basically failed. But let's continue.
That story, check out that link below. Shout out to Sherelle for digging into this, as well as everybody in the Facebook group.
Okay, so this lady name is Sherelle. Sherelle the bookkeeper. I'm gonna forget by tomorrow, but y'all remember that for me. Sherelle the bookkeeper.
So basically, Janae White, or the credit goddess, she was going into business with people with the same unit. On top of that, she was getting evicted from these units, but she was still sending out P&L statements, telling investors they were at a deficit, so she told them they had to pay her in order to get another payout. But some of them still never received anything. And now over 50 people filed reports in Duval County against Janae, telling police that she scammed them.
Thank you, Tim. More people now speaking up about their experiences with a prominent Jacksonville entrepreneur. At least 50 people have now filed police reports with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office about Janae White and her businesses. We're on your side tonight with a closer look at what this case could look like. Riley Phillips joins us live now from Jacksonville with more about this. Riley?
Yes, I spoke with an expert today who says a fraud case like this will be difficult to prove, and it takes a lot of concrete evidence to show that money is missing.
TV's Robinson is an entrepreneur herself and was looking for new business opportunities when she learned about Janae White's real estate mentorship program.
So we were supposed to acquire the property and flip it, rehab it, and sell it, and then split the profits.
She ended up investing $10,000 through the program, but she says there were problems with the home and she doesn't know where the money went for the renovations.
I'm at a loss. I actually just did a consultation with the bankruptcy attorney. This is going to have detrimental, long-lasting effects.
Robinson is one of dozens of people who have filed police reports about their experiences with White's businesses. But crime and safety expert Mark Bachman says investigators will have their work cut out for them when it comes to building a fraud case.
It's difficult because you got to make sure you have the acts that fall under that particular violation that you're looking at charging the individual with, and make sure that it's not a civil violation.
Bachman says investigators will have to look through financial documents, bank records, and trace where the money was going. Then it's up to the state attorney's office to determine if the case would hold up in court.
And if it's so complicated that the prosecutor may have a hard time understanding what's being pursued by the investigators, they have to in turn convince a jury of that if it ever goes to a trial. So you really have to put some sweat equity into it, or some.
All right, Chad, let me pause it right there. So basically, to break it down in a way easier to understand, what he's saying is it's harder to prove that she was being fraudulent criminally. Like it's harder to prove that she was doing a criminal act. In a civil, there's two ways to look at it, both civil, a civil action and a criminal action. In a civil action, it only takes about 51% to prove that you did something. In a criminal case, the burden of proof is much higher. So you say like 80 to 90%. And then once you get to 80 or 90% of believing that somebody did something criminally, then you have to convince a jury that that's the case. That's basically what he's saying. So you have to prove that what she did falls under a criminal act, and then you have to convince the DA that there's enough evidence to pursue that criminal act under that law, and then you have to get a jury you have to convince a jury that she actually did a criminal act. So the burden of proof is way higher.
Energy into it, investigative power into it, to get to that point and ramp up to charging the individual.
When we spoke with White last week, she denied these claims against her. Robinson is now waiting to see what happens next with investigators. While she does not believe she will get her money back, she does hope someone is held accountable.
While I understand that there is a certain amount of risk when you go into these type of transactions, the way that it was presented to us is that the risk was minimal. And so that's what allowed me to feel comfortable investing with someone that I had never met.
And Bachman added this process is
Here's another thing, chat. Everything that glitters ain't gold. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. If it looks like it comes too easy, there's normally a catch. So when it comes to business, if you've never met someone before and they're giving you this golden opportunity and you can't, like they can't explain it to you like a child and you get it, then it's not something that you would be willing to invest in. When somebody explains a business idea or some type of investment opportunity to you, you should be able to understand it in a way that a third grader can understand. So if they're hitting you with all types of big words and all this other stuff and kind of making your head spin when they're trying to give you this investment, then they're misleading you. If they can't explain it to you very simply, and then you can be like, okay, I get this amount of money, I get this back, I pay this, I pay that, then that's not a wise investment, especially if it's somebody that you just getting to know and you don't have a history of their portfolio and what they've actually done and what liabilities they have over their assets. These are things that you really have to look into when you're investing into people.
Is going to take a while going through all the documentation and speaking with witnesses, so we really might not get an update from investigators right away. If you do believe you are a victim of a crime, you can file a police report with JSO. Live in Jacksonville, Riley Phillips, First Coast News, on your side.
She says she invested with her and didn't even know her. And honestly, she wasn't the only one. That's what most of her accusers did. They saw a boss chick, and that's who they like to support. That same masculine, mean girl personality. And they usually support them and defend them until they cross them, which almost always happens if given the opportunity. They love the reality star personality, the oh everybody look at me personality, and they're not just addicted to money. But you know what's even more important to them? Attention. Attention is the most important thing to most modern women. They sign up for that larger than life personality because that's what they want to be too. As far as the credit goes,
This is why I wanted to bring up best practices on part 2 of our podcast, of this segment. Is because I want us to ask ourselves a question: are you going into business for the right reasons? Are you going into business in order to become financially stable, financially independent, or are you going into business because you want to be seen, you want the status? What's the real motivation for you getting into business, and do you understand the implications of how your motivation for business will affect your outcome? If you're going into business for the wrong reasons, it generally doesn't last. It probably won't last more than a year or two. If you're going into business because you want to look the part, you won't make it. If you're going into business because you really want to build a future, you want to leave a lasting legacy, you have a greater chance of succeeding in the long term.
Goddess and all of her investors, she already said the money is going.
If you came to me for an Airbnb, what the fuck make you think that money ain't spent? So if I ain't spend the money and you think the money just sitting in my account, then you participated in the scam. You ain't getting your money back. Hey, me, you ain't getting your money back. That shit, oh, who was on that talking shit?
As a former fraud investigator and social service worker, this woman is talking to people who are her potential clients and customers and telling them that they potentially participated in a scam. She's saying this on a live stream where she's actively being investigated for fraud. You can't make this shit up.
DJ Billingsley, child, he a woman, and any man, you a man in women. Get your ass off this live. Somebody he was in there talking. I don't want to say it on live.
This is why you have to be careful who manages your business. Be careful who you put in leadership positions of your business, because if they cannot control their ego, they will burn your business to the ground. They'll burn their own business to the ground because they can't control their ego. Words will come out their mouth, and then all of a sudden, it's different when you're in the private sector. You're having a discussion between two people privately. It's a different topic or a different subject altogether when you're a business owner and you're talking to people who potentially invested in your business. Those are two totally different conversations. When you speak into potential investors and clients and people who feel like you scammed them, and you're talking to them as if you're on the street, that is an excellent way to lose all of your money.
I want to implicate myself.
Well, too late. You already did that. And they got you on video saying it. The group already pulled the police in. They get mad and threaten your life. That's why I was definitely getting Ashley Grayson vibes. And good job telling on yourself, smart goddess, shea butter, sea moss lady. Now I see why they call you a donkey for more reasons than one. It all makes sense now. This idiot is sitting on live, threatening a man's life, saying he's getting involved in women's business. Ma'am, this is everybody's business. You scammed men and women. It's all over the news. Over 50 people filed reports with the sheriff.
But like that, it's a place for niggas like you, because I know some gonna be on Facebook.
I'll tell you that mouth on her is reckless, and it's gonna have that man of hers locked up too. But guess who's gonna have a tough sentence and who's gonna have it easy? Him or her? Let me know below. See, a woman like this is a liability to everyone around her. And at this point, you have dozens of people who filed police reports, so there's no way this is going to be ignored. There will definitely be an investigation. She ran off on the plug more than twice. then telling people they're not going to get their money back, threatening people. Think about it. She told these people that they're going to be having these Airbnbs. Most of them never saw the money from the rentals. She's making them cover liabilities, but then you're getting evictions left and right. That's because she wasn't paying the rent. Why when she was getting money from the rentals?
Ladies, please don't get on social media selling fights for men. Please stop getting on social media booking fights for men. Ladies, please stop going out in public, going on social media, booking fights for men. We do not ask for you to book fights for us. And any man who is anxious to book a fight in public and not in the ring, let them have their own little island or their own little section of the country by themselves. But those of us who book fights in the ring, we don't just randomly want to book fights out in public. And ladies, if you're not the one fighting, please stop booking fights for the men in your life. Please stop putting the lives of the men in your family, in your community, in jeopardy because of your ego. That is not a good idea. Let's proceed.
And then these scammers are really good at creating false illusions. She was going around bragging about owning 52 Airbnbs all over social media, trying to get attention from the blogs. You know, really made it seem like she owned those properties. That's why I say, young ladies, stop looking at yourself and your life and comparing yourself to these frauds and phonies on the internet. Most of them don't have what they post to have, P-O-S-T. But they're trying their hardest to keep up with the Joneses, driving themselves silly.
That's another thing I noticed. That's going to be in our next episode. It's going to have to do with credit and liabilities and economics as it relates to the business world and the black community. But that's for our next episode. But she touched on it a little bit right here, where we've come to this point where we are more concerned with the look rather than the actual work that we're doing. We will do whatever it takes to have the look of success, but not actually work towards the success. I see a lot of Benzes, but I see a lot of people that's one paycheck away from losing the house, the car, the dog. So what's the sense of having these vehicles? Oh, and that's another thing that was brought up, where they were addressing the fact that a lot of people are giving back their cars because they overpaid. They got car notes, $1,000 car notes that were unsustainable. And that has a lot to do with bad business practices. When you impulse buy and you make poor decisions in economics, you're going to pay for it later. What she's doing is she's trying to look the part, but she's not building up the support and the foundation in order to accurately represent the part that she's trying to play.
To do it, and also driving you silly because you're trying to keep up with their fake life in real life. Listen, love your life, love what you have, show gratitude for what you have. The most simple things can bring you the most satisfaction. So moving forward, shut out all the noise, and when you learn how to have gratitude, you will find peace.
Shout out to Pink Book Lessons for a very, 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 very inspirational and informative video. I really, really do love her content. And I appreciate her putting out there, giving me an opportunity to give my perspective and react on it. Before we get into our next segment, we're going to take a brief break. While we do that, y'all make sure to do a little bit of housekeeping on your way out. And when we're back, we'll continue on with the next segment.
Let's talk.
If you're just coming into the door, make sure you like, share, and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you'll be alerted to all of the upcoming episodes in the future. And don't forget to leave a comment because we do have giveaways. And I think you'll like some of the stuff we have to offer. It's pretty cool. Alright, before we get into it also, I'd like to give a shout out to our first winner of the merch giveaway, Jam. It's pretty cool. She said she liked the merch, and make sure you go to the channel and check out the shorts, the video made where she modeled some of the giveaway merch. I think y'all like it. And tell me what y'all think. I think Jam's pretty cute. All right, let's see. Getting into the third segment. Let's rock. All right, here's Anton Daniels going in about grocery stores and how Walmart and Aldi are now becoming competitors. But let's get into it.
Talk about Aldi because I want to keep the show rolling based off of a conversation that we had yesterday, right? So yesterday we broke down that Walmart, 1 out of every 4 people, statistically speaking, this is not my opinion, this is data. 1 out of every 4 people, over 25%, 25.2% of all groceries sold in the United States come from Walmart. Now, I also added additional context in that Walmart is leveraging technology and AI, and they're spending a lot of money on research and development and acquiring multiple different companies that then allow for them to eliminate all of the mistakes that come along with all of these workers that's asking for $25 an hour and automating the process. But also, in addition to that, a lot of the groceries that Walmart sell are loss leaders because they wanted to drive out the mom and pop businesses and other people that they were competing against. And they're not worried as much about it because they have the infrastructure, and also the way in which they make the majority of their money has nothing to do with groceries. That's how much money they gross. The profitability, the profit margins don't come from groceries. Often at times they sell it for $1 cheaper than other competitors are able to buy it. They're using their scale to get better prices, but they're also using those better prices to get you in the store, and then they're hoping for you to go over into other parts of the store, buy some socks, buy some pillows, maybe get a couple electronics, look for a TV, maybe get a candle or two, go and get you some XJ9000 gym shoes that your son gonna dis.
I had to poke up on that part right there. I don't know how many years ago, I used to work at Walmart. I used to work in the electronics section. I actually built the electronics section in 2 of the Walmarts. And I've worked in the stocking, I've done stocking. And one of the lessons that I learned when I was working at Walmart, because they kind of give you the game on how Walmart became successful. If you're paying attention during your orientation or whatever, they kind of give you the game on how Walmart became successful. One of his mantras was $1 at a time. So his goal wasn't to just take all your money at once. It was just to get $1 here, $1 there, $1 here, $1 there. And over time, that money would add up. So if you got 1,000 people giving you $1 here, $1 there, $1 here, $1 there. Say if you did 1,000 people at $1 a day, that's $1,000 a day. So you multiply that by hundreds or thousands of stores, and you can imagine how quickly that money can add up. You add in the fact that you cut down the costs of merchandising, marketing, manufacturing, infrastructure, all the various aspects of business and how to make it profitable. When you learn how to trim down all of the excess, and on top of that, learn how to get your customers to stay in the store longer to spend more money. That is a recipe for success.
It's like he gonna get teased at in school. Get you a candy bar on your way out the door. Get some Tic Tacs. Make sure that you're getting your breath straight so you can go over that side chick's house. All of that, right? So the ways in which Walmart are able to leverage their size and scale in order to continue to drive out the competition and run up profits calls for you to spend 25.2% of all of, or everybody, 25.2% of all the population are buying their groceries from Walmart, right? But Aldi is on the rise. Let me tell you how excited I am in order to review this from Aldi. Because when I was growing up, you know what my dad said? He had made the sacrifice to send us to middle school, to send me and my brother to private school and middle school. And he said, I'm not going to buy a new car. I'm going to invest in y'all. And so for those 2 years, it completely changed the view that I have on life, success, money, culture, the whole 9 yards. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me. He said, man, let me tell you something. I'm driving this Thunderbird. It was a Thunderbird with different colors on the side of the cars and stuff like that. He said, I'm driving this Thunderbird. He said, you know what, Anton? It was me, my 3 brothers, him and my mom, and then we also had some straggle-along people from the neighborhood and guys that wanted to hoop and didn't want to go home because they was born to single baby mamas that didn't know who their baby daddy was. He said, let me tell you something, Anton. I could feed this whole household for $10. I said, bull crap. We had an Aldi because I stayed on Green Lawn between 8 Mile and 7 Mile between Wyoming and Livernois, right? And if you walk literally all the way down to the corner store and then you cross the street over to Ferndale, because I was 2 blocks away from 8 Mile, you can walk over to an Aldi. And so it was a brand new Aldi store to compete with the Kroger that they had built down the street, right? And if you walked into Aldi, and they had all of these off-brand products, and he would make sure that he taught us. And he taught us. And see, that's what a lot of women don't understand. We know what to do for, I'm a cook on a Wednesday night show tonight. Trust me, it's going to be a great show. Men ain't incapable of being able to do what it is that you say you bring to the table.
I want to point that out too. When you learn how to budget and you learn how to save money in very small ways, that adds up very quickly. When you learn how to budget and don't always go for the most expensive option, as long as it's something that's beneficial, doesn't hurt you, and lasts, you don't always have to go for the most expensive option. And that will save you money that you can invest in the future to get bigger, better things. Like, I guess you can put it like this. You can buy a pair of $400 Jordans and then you can resell them for what, $250, $300, or you can buy you a regular pair of, I don't know, classics for like $85. Then you could take that other $250 and invest it in something else and then make $500, and then take that $500 and invest it in something else, make $1,000. Take that $1,000 and invest it in something. You started with $250. You still got the classics on your feet, but now you got $2,000 and a pair of classics instead of just a pair of $400 Jordans. If what I say makes sense to you, then leave a like.
We're going to get to Aldi in a minute. Give me a second. Let me cook. We're not incapable. When you say what you bring to the table, if you're not Miss Rodriguez from the last show, we watching you with a close eye, because what you do, we can already do for us. I know how to clean. I ain't even got to clean the way that I was taught. We got dishwashers now. I know how to wash clothes. I ain't even got to wash the way that we used to wash. We got these practically do-it-yourself all-in-one washing machine and dryers now. We can do all of the things that you done. Listen, my mom and my dad taught me to be able to fend for myself. You a plus one, not a requirement. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these guys need to start telling these women out here. I know how to clean for myself. I can do whatever I need to do. My dad took me to Aldi's. He told me I could be able to feed myself and my family for under $10 in a day. That's a fact, though. Real talk. So Aldi is the fastest growing grocer in the United States, and it's not even from the United States. Let's review what the Wall Street Journal has discovered for us. Let's break it down and let's have a conversation because we want to look for the investment opportunities. Do we not?
This half gallon of whole milk from Aldi costs $2.18. Eggs, $1.87. Bread, $1.29. Aldi is the fastest growing grocer by store count in the country. And
Hold on, wait. Let's stop there for a second.
You and me both, Anton. Hey, listen. Why is it so hard for black folks to come together in one of these food deserts and create a grocery store? I need somebody to answer that question for me. Why is it so hard for black people to come together and open a grocery store? Somebody tell me that. Help me understand that.
Let me back up. Everybody keep telling me about how expensive it is out here in these streets. The Wall Street Journal told me that milk, as of right now, this is not an old article, this is right now, is $2.18 for a half gallon, $1.87 for a dozen of eggs, and you can go and get you some bread for $1.29. Let me tell you something. You know what I see right there? I see an egg sandwich. And I don't even need the milk aspect of it. But if you want to put a little bit of milk in your egg.
Yo, if you ain't read my mind just now, I'm reacting to this blind chat. I haven't watched this yet. So, yo, my dude said, you know what I see right there? An egg sandwich. Yo, that's crazy. That's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, yo, I could make an egg sandwich from that early. I could do that. Oh man, egg sandwich. I don't do white bread though. I'd rather like wheat bread or something like that. But I ain't gonna be picky. If I don't have no bread in the fridge, I'm gonna get white bread.
Eggs in order to get it together. I see egg sandwiches. I don't need nothing else. Take out the $2.18, the $1.29 and the $1.87. That get me over $3, slightly over $3, if my mental math is correct. I see an egg sandwich right there. Don't sit here and tell me about how expensive it is for you to be able to survive. I see egg sandwiches, and I can throw an extra egg in there if I want to. I can go over to Aldi's and make sure that I can cook myself some breakfast, and y'all keep acting like you got to spend over $1,000 a month in order to be able to feed yourself. Because you want to make the excuse to go out there and do what you want to do instead of doing what you can do in order to survive. I don't even need the bread. I can just make the eggs. Don't sit here and tell me about how much it costs in order for you to feed yourself. That's because you keep lying to yourself, telling you that it takes 3 meals a day, and you want some salmon. I know y'all ghetto ones. Y'all think that it's called salmon. You don't know that the L is silent because you ain't never been nowhere. Keep talking about you want to go to Ruth Chris, Beanie Ha Ha. You don't want to go over to Cheesecake Factory. You don't even know how to pronounce salmon. You don't even know how to pronounce salmon correct. Keep calling me, take you to a nice restaurant. I want some salmon. Bruh, you out here embarrassing me in front of the people? Don't worry. Tell the waiter later. Don't worry about it. We gonna get her there. We gonna get her there. But some of y'all just now figured out that it was called salmon. Y'all ain't even know that it wasn't called salmon, did you? Let's continue. This is about Aldi. Let's continue.
The fastest growing grocer by store count in the country, and its no-frills approach has also made it one of the cheapest. For the past decade, it's been growing at a rate of about 100 stores per year. And when an economic downturn hits, it thrives.
It's about simplicity, and it's about efficiency, and it's about a consistent experience all the time.
This is the economics of Aldi. So how does the company keep its prices so low? Take its store setup.
You walk in, and the moment you step foot in our store, you can see all 4 walls.
Aldi's are typically around 12,000 square feet, about the same as a Trader Joe's, and much smaller than the average supermarket. Operating a smaller space saves money when buying the property, on the lease, and on utilities.
So Aldi is doing the very thing that we advocate for you to do on a personal level, and what we advocate for people to do in their business, which is drive the cost out.
Now, based on this business model, for being less of a square footage, less in maintenance and utility costs, there's no reason why we wouldn't be able to actually sustain a supermarket similar to this one in local neighborhoods. There's no reason why we couldn't do that.
And then pass the savings over to the consumer while still turning a profit, which is one of the reasons why they're able to do the very thing that they're doing. See, when you go into the grocery store and y'all want all of these fancy signs and you want to check out, when I go into Aldi, I see working managers. I don't see people over there with no clipboard. They ain't got no loss prevention officers that they got to pay. Everybody not making $25 an hour. They got working managers. They don't worry about the person going to get the cart. They solve for it. They engineered solutions that allow for them to be able to pass that over to the consumer. You know why? Because they don't have to hire the little kids to go out there and try to get the carts from the outside. They then say, hey, make people put a quarter in that joint. And if they want to get their quarter back, then they got to go back and take their cart back on their own, and they solve for it. Then they eliminated all the additional costs that they can then pass over to the consumer. That's why, because the true cost of something is the entirety of being able to run the business divided by what you sell on an individual basis, right? And so what they figured out is how to drive the costs out that then allow for them to be able to run up profitability and pass that over to the consumer, because they're trying to scale and not then whip you into submission with price. So when you look at Trader Joe's, when you look at Whole Foods, even when you look at a lot what's going on in these specialty Kroger stores and Publix.
Now, I just want to address what he just said right there. They're trying to scale. In other words, you start with a small business model, and you scale that small business model throughout small neighborhoods. Excuse me. So when they talk about take over the block, that's what they were talking about when they said take over the block. You consolidate your money, you cooperate, you collaborate, you take all that money and you invest it into something that is sustainable and legitimate. A small grocery store, legitimately run, will be sustainable and economically viable and profitable. And it's scalable.
Stuff like that. They're trying to give you an experience. But for people that's just trying to save money and get in and out for what it is that they want, they're trying to give you products at the cheapest price point possible that allow for them to be able to run up the profits. But then at the same time, they have to engineer solutions that allow for them to not have people then drive up the costs, because then they want to unionize and they want to continue to run up the bag. I thought y'all was all about the American worker. Why y'all love Aldi so much? Because it hit your pocketbooks, and when it started becoming personal, you start taking a personal play in it.
The layout at Aldi is as much designed for our operational efficiency as anything. And so being very specific about the amount of footsteps it takes to service our store, and a very limited store size allows us to operate a very efficient operation. And that creates a lot of value.
To further its efficiency, Aldi doesn't have extra services like a customer help desk, a fresh bakery, or butcher, and it stocks significantly fewer products. Supermarkets typically carry around 31,000 products. Trader Joe's has about 4,000, but Aldi stocks about 1,600. Often, there are just 3 to 5 employees on the sales floor, so having fewer items and leaving them in the boxes they were delivered in means employees spend less time stocking shelves.
Driving the cost out. How do they drive the cost out? Well, the way that they drive the cost out is that they've figured out how to even stock the products more efficiently than the people that work overnight or throughout the store, giving you a variety of the different products that they have to stock because they're driving out the labor. In addition to that, they've curated the amount of products that they carry on their store shelves to not have so much of a variety, but then to offer you exactly what they think that you need or what is going to sell. You need eggs, they got eggs. They're not going to have 20 different types of eggs.
So basically what this is doing is it's catering to the frugal and to the minimalist. People who are basically going in for bare necessities, for the basics, and it eliminates choice overload. So because you don't have a lot of choices, you go in there, you get what you want, and you leave. You're not wandering around for like 45 minutes trying to figure out which salad dressing you want. There's probably like 2 or 3 versions, and that's it. It's absolutely amazing.
These are the eggs. You want barbecue sauce? We got this barbecue sauce. We've been able to negotiate with whoever it is that distributed. This is barbecue sauce. Watermelon is watermelon. Ain't no this over there, it grown over there. Watermelon is water. They got back to the basics of what it took in order to offer you the products that you need, not the products that people think that they want, so that you then drive up inflation and the cost of what it takes in order for you to do business. So if you want variety, that's what you can go to another grocery store for. If you want to just get straight to it and get what you need in order to see, it's different when you ain't got it. When you ain't got it, you get what you need. When you think you got it, you get what you want, and that's the difference. And so if you look at how it is that they structure the store, it's very, very straightforward. I would also have you guys to know that Aldi is not a publicly traded company. Well, what does that mean, Anton? That means that they have more of an incentive to drive out the cost and drive up profitability instead of operating the same way with the inefficiencies of publicly traded companies that's then floated by daddy's money, meaning the investors. Twitter, for years before Elon Musk bought them,
all these business models can become profitable the way it is because they're not beholden to the shareholders. Because it's not publicly traded, they're not obligated to shareholders. That way they can drive down costs through efficiency. Outstanding.
was losing money. They lost money every single year that they were in existence. Twitter never, ever turned a profit. The minute that Elon Musk got it, everybody complained about all of the efficiencies that he was creating for it. You know why? Because he had a vested interest in seeing it profitable and driving out the cost that was then tearing the company apart. When you are a privately owned company, you then look to become profitable because every single thing that you do matters, and you have to drive out the cost, and you run it differently than a publicly traded company. It's a fact. Let's continue.
These cost-cutting strategies are critical to Aldi's profit margin, and they're why the company is able to offer items that are cheaper than the national average.
I want y'all to take a look at this this graph, this chart right here. When you talk about inflation, in New York City, if you're able to get a half a gallon of milk at $2.18 in New York City, that's crazy. That's
But they also serve another purpose. They help maintain Aldi's image as a discount store. Customers make compensatory inferences. Basically, marketing experts say when
you ain't gonna get no Cheerios over there. It's crispy oats. It look the same when you pour it out of the box, but you're not getting no Cheerios, no Frosted Flakes. You getting flakes that's frosted. No Cheerios, it's crispy oats. No Frosted Flakes, it's flakes that's frosted. Flat out. You want the stuff that got the Marvel logo on it that they got to pay for the licensing in order to get it over to you? Count Chocula and all of this other type of stuff, Crunch Berries and stuff like that. You not getting none of that, family. You getting the stuff from Millville, not the Villa to Mill. You know what I'm saying? You know, your friends used to come over like, hey, man, y'all ain't got no Frosted Flakes with the tiger on it that say great. Nah, fam, we got that one with the king on there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't never had King Vitamin before. Listen. King Vitamin was crazy, yo. King Vitamin was crazy. Yo, I remember being so poor at one point when the economy was hitting. We wasn't even buying a cereal that had boxes on it. We was buying a cereal that just came in a plastic bag. Y'all ain't never.
Hey, y'all don't judge me. I like the cereal in the bags. Don't judge me. I like the funny Crunch Berry cereal in the bag. Don't judge me on that. Don't at me.
Never had that before. Listen, I know everybody rich. Everybody was born rich. Everybody was born with a silver spoon in their mouth. But let me help you to understand something. When you ain't got it, you don't look right directly into the store shelf that's in the middle. You look up and you look down. And in the down part, it was the part where it just had a bag on it. Now, I don't know if they still do that year. Yeah, Fruit Rounds, Polar Bear on the box, King Vitamin. Yeah, listen. I had King Vitamin growing up. It was different. Some of y'all might not be familiar with it. I know y'all come from good backgrounds. Y'all parents spoiled y'all. I remember having King Vitamins. It wasn't called Lucky Charms back then. That was when it was a good week. When Daddy got his bonus, Lucky Charms, and woo! They started making the variations of it. Count Chocula. My dad kept the Count Chocula in his room. He said, "This is my Count Chocula. Don't nobody." And you know, when he left, we figured out the combination. Go still a little bit of Count Chocula, mix it in with our Lucky Arms. Y'all don't know nothing about Lucky Arms. I ain't say Lucky Charms. The C and the H was removed. It was Lucky Arms. I don't even know where they got that cereal from. I don't even know if that was a cereal. It was a Spartan Foods store. Lucky Arms? That junk was crazy. I ain't never seen no Lucky Arms before. Flat out. Listen. Wasn't no toasted strudels, wasn't no Pop-Tarts. It was berry tarts. You know what I'm saying? It was different for us. And so now that inflation is up, y'all starting to embrace this. Y'all was acting like y'all was too good for it, but it's different now.
When people see an item's price, they quickly make assumptions about the product. If it's cheap, they may assume it's lower quality, which is why Aldi's no-frills strategy is so effective. From the moment customers put quarters in their carts and walk into the store, they can see all the ways
I already knew about this. See, I'm a regular person just like everybody else.
Aldi reduces costs. Marketing experts say these tactics all signal to the customer that milk, eggs, and bread are cheaper at Aldi because of its efficiency rather than its quality. Though the results of its cost-cutting strategies aren't always popular with customers.
Somebody said non-brand food isn't great. Fam, don't y'all know that it be made in the same factories? I'm gonna have to really give y'all a deep dive to understand exactly how these companies operate. Kellogg's and General Mills and all of that. Most of the time, this stuff is built in the exact same factories on the same line with different brands that got different agreements with manufacturers and people that, man, y'all don't be knowing, man. A lot of times, y'all eating the same stuff and you don't even realize it. You just getting marketed to differently.
In a survey of roughly 6,500 people, Aldi scored on par with or slightly lower than many of its peers in categories like store cleanliness and item availability. But there's another key tactic.
Or they threw some extra sugar in there that ain't even good for you.
Grocers use to aid their low-cost images, known value items. These are staple household products whose prices people often remember. As Aldi has expanded across the country, other grocers have reduced their prices in response, particularly on these types of items.
When Aldi comes in, it prompts other retailers to look at their prices again and kind of, surgically.
All right, now, folks, I hope y'all listening. What she just said was that when Aldi enters the market in a certain location, in a certain region, the competitors are forced to make adjustments on their prices. What that signals to somebody with common sense is that the prices are not based on what the actual value of the product is, but what they're able to sell it for. So if a product is, say, worth $1.35 and Aldi sells it at $1.40, other companies are probably selling it at $1.65 when Aldi first enters in, and then when Aldi becomes established, they'll drop the competitors will drop their price down from, say, $1.65 to $1.50 in order to compete with Aldi. So it's not that the current competitors have to have these prices at this range, is that they're doing this because there is no competition. Competition always drives the cost of things down.
examine how to adjust what they sell and for how much.
That's because when people see lower prices for staple goods, they infer that the business offers low prices all around.
But you know, the interesting thing about it is that, and I think this is a marketing lesson to people, what white labeling and things like that. We're going to get through all of that this year before the end of the year. Actually, I might just do it for the Patreon members. I don't know. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. You know, the interesting thing about all of this, I remember one of the ways that my mother was solution for this is when she would buy the item, she would take it out of whatever the box is, and she had like these little decorative see-through jars or whatever like that that look really dope. And so you would put it in it. It's similar, like, I don't know if y'all stayed in hotels where, you know, they have the cereals and these little dispensers or whatever like that. It was similar to that. And it actually looked better and it looked much richer, right, than if you would have just left it in the box, because you actually had to grab the jar, or you had to grab these decorative things, and then you poured the cereal out of that, right? So, I mean, it's all marketing. The way that we even market ourselves, the way that we market our households, or how we decorate and stuff like that, it's all marketing. But when it comes back down to it, I think that people are becoming more price conscious, and they don't really care about what it is, because don't nobody even come to your house anyway. Everybody working from home.
And when it comes to value for dollar, Aldi ranked highest in the customer survey at 96%. But stores can only compete on price so much without hurting their profit margins. So what does Aldi use other than price point to draw in customers? It's private label items. 90% of Aldi's stock is private label. Like its other strategies, this reduces costs for the company.
And guess what? A lot of these other companies, including Whole Foods and if you go into any Trader Joe's, most of that stuff is private label. It's how they present it to you. It's how they sell it to you. I'm telling you, man, listen, I be over in Brickell in Miami, and I'll be staying right there. And if you're over in Brickell, Midtown in Miami, shortly off of Biscayne, and if you walk over to the Trader Joe's, and see, the way that my brain works is I start looking at stuff a little bit differently. Everything in Trader Joe's is white label. Everything is their own brand. And so they're able to mark up.
That's one thing. When we learn to cooperate and collaborate, we can start creating our own brands, our own private labels, and selling our own products instead of having to go out and bid for cost on other products. Create our own private label products and sell them in our own grocery stores.
Or marked down based off of the perception that you have of the brand. And then Aldi is doing the same thing, except for they're just trying to drive the cost out because they're scaling more effectively. So Trader Joe's doesn't have to sell as much in order to be as profitable. And Aldi is in scaling in that they're selling a lot more of the same thing, a lot more efficient, and then driving the same level of profitability or more, which then gives the consumer, right, a better way in which they can survive in today's economy, especially now that all things are going up. But here's the flip side. Here's the question that I got for y'all. Hey, ladies, y'all ready to go on a date to Aldi or what?
Take all of our buying power and we put it into the 7.
That's a really good question. Hey ladies, would y'all be okay with a man taking y'all to a cheap, I wouldn't say a cheap, but an inexpensive grocery store for a first date? Y'all go shopping for groceries. You go grocery shopping for your stuff. He go for his stuff. Y'all go to a really inexpensive grocery store. Would that be a nice first date?
The most popular or common salad dressings that a customer might buy. That allows us to deal directly with manufacturers and make sure that we get the best cost price.
Analysts say that Trader Joe's uses private label items to differ from competitors by creating items that customers can only
on everything. On my father's grave, I have not watched this show. I have not watched this video before I'm reviewing it with y'all. I have on my father's grave, I have not watched this show. On my daughter's life, I have not watched this show before I started breaking it down to y'all. I'm already giving you the sauce before they start breaking.
We're both reacting to this on the first time.
Breaking it down themselves.
Only find there. Like its ube mochi pancake mix and butternut squash mac and cheese. But at Aldi, you'll find private label items that look quite similar to the most well-known national brands. Instead of wheat thins, Aldi has thin wheat.
I told you, man. Instead of wheat thins, they switch the word around and it say thin wheats. And you don't even be thinking about it. You just be like, hey, man, can you go get me some of them wheat thins over there? Your homeboy like, hey, man, they got thin wheats. All right. I mean, yeah, that's what I meant. Thin wheats. Yeah. The thin wheats. You getting the same thing, bro.
According to analysts, this is because Aldi wants customers to think they're essentially getting the same product, but at a significant discount.
There was a time when the perception was, they're the generic brand and, they're just cheaper but not as good as the national brands. And those days are over.
As consumers felt the lasting impacts of inflation, sales of store brand products increased. From 2018 to 2022, there was a 34% increase. The financial crisis sparked its growth and decision to add around 100 new stores per year.
What was really interesting is we never lost any of those customers. And as the economy improved and we had a really long run of economic improvement, Aldi grew throughout that entire period of time.
And now, as inflation drains Americans' wallets, Aldi continues to grow.
In the beginning, that was sort of...
Wow, I didn't know that they were buying Winn-Dixie. Wow. And you know what the interesting thing about this whole thing is that they're still a privately owned company. They're a family-owned German brand, privately owned, and they're acquiring assets and continuing to grow in the United States of America because they understand the business aspect of things. I wish I could buy into Aldi and invest into them. I think it is a great brand company. If they ever IPO, I'm definitely going to be the first in line to try to become one of the first shareholders and buy a significant amount of stock and it's not even that we need to look to invest in these companies. A lot of times we can also implement some of these same strategies and marketing tactics in our own lives, but we don't do so because we're so busy being caught up with marketing and branding as far as the Joneses, trying to be the Joneses.
I think it has more to do with scam culture. I think it has more to, when he says keeping up with the Joneses, people are doing whatever it takes to try to look the part rather than actually doing the work. When we get to the point where we're doing more work than we're trying to look like we're doing, we'll be in a way better space.
And keeping up with the Joneses instead of understanding how the human mind and the human psyche works in order for us to drive profitability in the companies that we've been having.
Shout out to Anton Daniels, Millionaire Morning Show. One of the most electrifying podcasters, content creators on YouTube. If you don't know what he's talking about, better get on board. But anyway, what we're gonna do right now is take a brief intermission before we get into the final thoughts, the afterthoughts, before we wrap things up. Just remember, if you're just coming in the door, to like, share, and subscribe. I am your host, Magnum, with the Vibez Lounge podcast. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll be back.
For those who
regular job first, right? Obviously, everybody knows how it is to have a regular job, but I'll talk about a time in which
Welcome back. All right. You are back and you are live with your host, Magnum, and this is the Vibez Lounge podcast. We are on our final segment, Afterthoughts, and we want to speak to, do a reaction to Symphonite. Earlier, before we went to break, we went over a few videos from a few content creators that I'm subscribed to, such as African Diaspora Network Channel, Pink Book Lessons, Millionaire Morning Show with Anton Daniels. And now we're going to get into Symphonite's take on regular job being a corporate job as a street ninja. I'm gonna get my take on it, and we're gonna give our afterthoughts, and we're gonna move around. Let's get into it. Let's hear what Symphonite has to say.
Today, I am here to talk about and compare what it's like having just a regular smegular job as a hood dude to getting a job in corporate. Now, I've only had one corporate job in my entire life, bro, and I got it not because of my specifications, my qualities, any of my experience. No, I got the job because of who I knew. And one of the most important things that y'all need to know about the workforce, it's not what you know, it's who you know most of the time. Now, some jobs, obviously, you can't have without certain degrees and things like that. You know, you just can't. But some jobs, especially some corporate jobs, you dead ass need no degrees if you know someone that has a high position, a shareholder, anything like that. It's literally crazy, bro. So I'm going to talk about just having a regular job first, right? Obviously, everybody knows how it is to have a regular job, but I'll talk about a time in which I was working at GameStop. Now, GameStop was a cool job, all right, for multiple reasons. One, I got a 50% off employee discount on used games. I don't know if they still do that for GameStop, but that's crazy, bro. That means if someone brings in a new game, within like the first week or two, they're gonna bring a used copy in because, you know, they're gonna trade it in, they're gonna beat it and try to sell it to us, whatever. We'll give them fucking $2 for a $70 game. And then it's used, and I know.
Bro. When he says give you $2 for a $70 game, bro, yeah, when I say GameStop, in my opinion, is highway robbery. When they talk about the money they give you back for your games and stuff, and then the resale value compared to what they give you, in my opinion, is highway robbery.
Know it's used first because I am literally working there, and then I can buy this game that they're gonna mark down from 70 to fucking $64.99, and then I get my 50% discount on it. Yep, that's, do the math. It's like $30 for a $70 game, bro. So like, yeah, like obviously GameStop is fire. I keep saying $70, but like when I was working at GameStop, games were still 60. I'm just used to saying 70 now because like that's literally how much games cost. Like, yo, the fact that games went up $10 more is crazy. Also, why am I paying $70 for a physical copy of the game that comes with a case and a manual when like I can go and buy a digital copy and it still costs the same price? What type of bullshit? All right, sorry, I digress.
That right there is another thing where we've learned, if we don't actually learn where to put our money and what companies to invest in, that's the reason why capitalism it can be dangerous. Because you have a bunch of people who are investing in companies that do not have their best interests in mind. And when you have people who capitalize on ignorance and greed is the main catalyst and driver for things can get very destructive very quickly.
I'm getting off track. GameStop was fire. As a hood dude, it was super fire because we was in there scamming, bro. Remember the one video where I told you, like, my mans was in there and he was doing the Yamina with the Yamin? He basically, for those of y'all that don't know, was scamming. Like, he would get someone to buy like a $3 game and then take the game case and then put like a $60 game disc in that case. He also one time sold someone in the brand new Xbox and then marked it cash. Bro bought a Xbox and didn't put any cash in the register, bro. This dude was different. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Obviously he got caught and all that. That's besides the point. I was a little bit smarter. I didn't do no dumb shit like say it was cash for like a $400-$500 system and then put no money in the drawer. Like, obviously somebody's gonna catch you, dumb ass dude. Like, bro, it's stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Like, imagine like, I want this new Xbox Series X. Okay, sir, what are you paying with? I'm paying cash. All right, I'll ring you up. There you go. You want a warranty with that? Of course I do. Because I'm not paying for, my bad. Of course I do. Motherfucker got a free Xbox anyways, bro. But I was doing like the thing with the game disc and stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely finessing crazy. Like, I would have my friends come in and be like, look, bro, I'm gonna give you $20. All you gotta do is buy these games. I want you to go pick up MLB The Show, 3 copies of that shit, a fucking NCAA game or something. Like, it's gonna come to $10, and then I'm gonna take the 4 cases and put like $60 games in there, bro. Then I'm gonna take them home. I'm gonna play them until I'm done and then sell them. So not only did I come up like, you know, $150, $160 after I sell them used, I also got to just steal the games and play them. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I was a piece of shit, bro. And I'm not telling y'all to steal, don't steal, bro. But I was a hood nigga at the time and, you know, in a job. GameStop was also cool because people would come in and they'd be like,
I'm trying my best not to respond to what he's saying, but boy. Yo, this is what happens when you raised in scamming culture. It's second nature to do bad shit, regardless of the consequences and the potential to go to jail or to be fined or to lose your ability to work for the next 10, 20 years. It's just so tempting for some people to just do the dumbest shit. Forgive me for cursing, but I just had to emphasize the fact that that's just completely stupid. God, that's stupid.
Like, this is the craziest thing I would do. I ain't gonna lie. They would come in and be like, yo, I want to trade these games in. Yo, I'm gonna be honest. Like, if I was working by myself, obviously, I ain't do this with managers, but I would be like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, bro. The system telling me I can only give you like $7, bro. But that's a $30 game, bro. Like, I'll give you 10. Just sell it to me cash. And niggas would do it, obviously. Like, they bring a $60 game in, I'm like, yeah, they saying we can only give you like $17, $25 for store credit, bro. I'm gonna be honest though, bro, I'll give you $25 cash, bro, if you just like sell it to me type shit. Like, I was doing that a lot though, and I was coming up crazy, bro. I was getting games for the low and then selling them for the high, because all you need is an Amazon or eBay account, bro. People be buying games. Like, obviously, if I buy a $60 game for $25, I don't need to sell it for $60. I can sell it for $40, $45. People are gonna buy it because it's like new and it's $15 or $20 less, and then I still made 15 or 20 bucks. You know what I'm saying? So GameStop was a straight hustle, bro. But let me tell you how it was when I got.
My guy had to come up of the century. And the crazy part is, dudes with this type of mentality, it's not to say it's a bad thing, but the enterprising spirit, the desire to be able to take a disadvantaged situation for somebody else and flip it. Because literally that person was going to lose either way. When they wanted to come in and sell it, they were going to sell it at a significant loss compared to what the other offer was. So even though they would have lost, they would have taken a less of a loss by going with the person who was doing something illegitimate in the business. But you got to give props to them, because Like, that business model is ridiculous. Like, it's highway robbery, in my opinion. So I can't knock him for trying to get that little come up, but the point that I was trying to make is we got all this ability to maximize profit, but don't have a sustainable model. So once we get the come up, we don't know what to do with the money afterwards. We don't know what to do with all of the value that we've built. We let it burn away, or we get useless things because we don't know how to take that initial investment and flip it into something bigger and more legitimate that can get us even more gains. We don't understand that. That's where financial literacy, mentorship from people who aren't scammers, where all that comes in, and you got to have the discipline and the respect of the consequences of what can come when you do things illegitimately.
Got to corporate, bro, because everything was completely different, bro. Everything was different. And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Probably shouldn't have been in there, bro. But I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do, bro? I'm not gonna lie. So anyways, I worked at this like engineering company, bro, and like the business side. And basically how I got in there was I had a friend that was an engineer and he worked there and he was pretty high up. He had like a lot of clearance and stuff. He knew a lot of people. So he got me into the job, bro. But it was just a bullshit ass office job basically, bro. I still to this day don't know what I was doing. I was in there and then they would give me these like forms to read. I had to read over them and then like accept or reject them. But bro, I had no qualifications, so I don't even know. I was just accepting and rejecting shit. I literally don't know what I was doing to this day. If someone came to me and said, I give you $1 million to describe this job to me, I'd be like, bro, I was reading papers. That's
My boy said, I had to laugh at that one. He said, yo, my boy name is Larry. I just got to reject this off of principle. Yo, how disrespectful is that to everybody named Larry? Yo, if you're Larry in the chat, put a brick in the chat if you're named Larry.
literally what the job was, but I was getting salary. I had benefits, bro. There were like job trips and shit. Bro, this job was awesome. I ended up getting fired because obviously I had no idea what the hell I was doing. But as a hood dude being in here, things were very different, very funny, bro. Well, at least, you know, in hindsight, it's funny to me, bro. But like at the time, it was just very stressful. Like I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But I mean, it is what it is. We ball. Damn, why I hit the notes like that? So I'm in this job, bro. First day, bro. They tell me I get an hour lunch. I'm like, an hour lunch? Bro, I say, yo, I'm bougie. I'm in this bitch thinking like I'm really that guy, bro. So you're telling me I got a 9 to 5, but I get an hour lunch? So off rip, I'm not even working an 8-hour shift. I'm working a 7-hour joint. 5 days a week is 35 hours, but I'm getting paid like I'm working 40? Oh yeah, nah. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I knew I was really at the right spot then, bro. An hour lunch, bro. I didn't even have an hour to eat. I be eating fast, bro. I eat in like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. I got 45 minutes to beat off in my car if I want. Like, bro, it's crazy. Oh, this job was fire. Also, bro, I never knew what pay time.
That's another problem we have, black people. Yeah, my boy was like, we get an hour lunch. I don't even spend an hour eating. Yo, dude said I ate for 15 minutes and then I got 45 minutes to beat off in my car. Oh my God. Bruh. If you got 45 minutes to spare and the first thing you do is think about beating off in your car, this kind of circles back to what I was talking about not being in the service industry if you're not prepared. Oh my God. Let's proceed.
I'm off was ever. Never had a job where you had that. Bro, they give you PTO after a certain amount of time, bro, which is crazy. You can literally just take the day off and they pay you. What the fuck is that, bro? I don't know. All jobs need that. All jobs need that. Reward it to the good employees or something, an incentive for coming to work or something, bro. Give it to your employee. That shit is different, bro. I dead ass, I didn't need it for nothing. Like, I tried to save them for like days I had some stuff to do, but I ain't have shit to do, bro. It would be days where I'm like, oh damn, bro, this new movie come out today. I want to go watch it. Shit, I'm gonna use a PTO. And then, bro, you get sick days. All right, let's talk about the sick days real quick, bro. Obviously, every job is different. This job didn't even ask me for doctor notes. Dead ass, didn't ask me for doctor notes. I would just be like, yo, I need a sick day, I'm sick, bro. I would tell my mans who was like the supervisor, engineer, whatever, bro, that was like in the company, he was like, oh, bro, let's call HR and tell them. What you mean? Like, I don't gotta go to the doctor or nothing? Nah, and I was actually sick. So, you know, if I needed a doctor's note, I could have got one because I did go to the doctor, but like, bro, I didn't even need it. They didn't even ask. And I don't know if that is a policy thing. I don't know if that's just a thing and it's like varies business to business. I have no idea, bro. But the fact that they didn't even ask me for a note is crazy. Might be like, corporate might be best job ever. I ain't gonna lie. If I had to like, not best job ever, but if I had to work somewhere where I had to like listen to a nigga and shit, I definitely want paid time off and sick days, bro. And then let me tell you about the insurance.
He is bringing up some really good points right now. Even though he's coming at it from a hood perspective, he's bringing up some really good points. If you are going to work for a company, work for one that gives you paid time off. You got perks, benefits, and health insurance, you know, sick leave, all that good stuff. Make sure you're working for a company that actually gives you time to take care of yourself. When you're working a lot and you don't have time to take care of yourself, it really can wear on your health. And all of that work is for nothing if you're sick all the time. So you definitely want to work for a company that cares about your health and well-being. And I think I will go into that next week. As a matter of fact, when I go into the whole scamming culture and all that other stuff in business, I'm going to also go into some alternative companies that you can work for remote that have really good perks and bonuses that allow you to take better care of yourself and give you more of a chance to thrive while you're working.
Hold on, bro. Relax, because it gets serious. Nigga, I had company insurance for vision, dental, health. Obviously, they took it out of your checks, like you gotta pay for it. But the amount that the company backs pretty much is crazy, bro. You're not really even paying that much out of your payments. And you had like literally the best insurance I could get in my city. Like, I could just go to the doctor and get a BBL for like, all right, my that's how I felt though. Going to the doctor's office, yeah, bro, I got Blue Cross Blue Shield Plus. So, you know, I want a BBL done. Oh, right away, sir. Can you get it done today? Blue Cross Blue Shield? Oh, hold on. Bro, it's like the best, like, bro, it was crazy, bro. I was in there going crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Like, the insurance is too crazy. It's too crazy. You could go to any doctor, it didn't matter, bro. It didn't matter. If you tell them you got that insurance, bro, they would just like, sometimes, I swear to God, I felt like it was like having like a premium ticket to somewhere, bro. I would go in somewhere and, you know, you guys taking new patients, they'll be like, yeah, whatever. And then we get to the part where they're like, oh, what insurance do you have? I'll tell them, these niggas started acting different. Like I was a fancy guy. Like I was the one, bro. I swear to God, your social class be going up 10 points if you got good insurance. They like, oh yeah, this got money. Remember that video where the girl was like, oh, large, he got money. Yo, that's how I felt, bro. Corporate is crazy. Now, that's all the good stuff. The drawbacks of corporate as a hood dude is everybody looks at you like you're fucking crazy. They know I'm not supposed to be there. Everybody's coming to work in fucking like polo shirts and slacks, fucking dresses. Bro, I'm in that bitch, bro. Got a polo on because I have to, but that bitch Ralph Lauren, bro. Bro, the Dickies on. I don't got no fucking regular slacks. I got the fucking, the Dickies. I got the Dickies on, bro. No cap. But then they talking about you gotta have like boots. Bro, I came to work the first day in some butters, bro. They was looking at me like I was a New York nigga. I ain't gonna lie, I lasted mad long at this job though, bro. I ain't gonna lie, it was fire. I lasted like 8 months, 8-9 months before finally they had this meeting and they would like literally ask me, how did you like, you know, hear about this job? And I told them and they're like, how did you get hired? And I told them. And they're like, okay, do you have any qualifications, past work experience? I'm like, nah, I just applied. And they terminated me. Not because, you know.
Bro. He literally, here's another thing that he did absolutely wrong. He got a really good position at a job, helped with a friend, but he didn't invest in his own development. When he realized he didn't know what he was doing, the first thing he should have did was research what the hell he was doing. That's the first thing he should have did. Once he did that, once he researched what he was doing, he should have studied closely to learn what was the best practices in the position. Even if you don't understand all the nuance, if you understood the basics of the position, you would have a better time having that discussion with people. If they ask you what your qualifications were, you just tell them that you've done your homework, you've done your research, and even if it's independent research and study, you've done the work. But when you get into a position and you don't even attempt to try to understand the position that you're in while you're there, 8 to 9 months isn't a long time to be with the company. Most people expect to be with the company. If you're with a really good company, you have a really good salary, you want to be there for 20, 25 years. If you have a really good salary, really good pension, really good work benefits and comp package, you kind of want to be there for a while. Especially when you thinking to yourself that you haven't had a job like that, you've never had a position like that. That's the perfect opportunity to take full advantage of it. And on top of that, you're building your portfolio, because you can now tell people that you've worked in a position that you don't want to say was above your pay grade, but it was something that required you to do your own homework and research in becoming more proficient at. And that's something that a company can see, that you're self-motivated and basically self-improvement and acquiring a better skill set.
I got the job wrongfully. Like, I went through the right avenues. I just snuck through the system because of who I knew. They fired me because I was accepting forms that were supposed to be rejected and vice versa. So apparently I found out there was an entire guideline that I had to go over, and I wasn't ever.
Nah, I just told you, chat. This is my first time reacting to this video. I've never watched this video. I just told you. The first thing he should have did was understood the basic concept of his job. If he'd have done the research, the basic research of the concept of his job, he would have understood what to reject and what to accept. But he didn't do it. He just went based off of feeling. All he had to do was a little bit of research and he would have kept his job.
I was kind of just reading it and was like, oh, this sounds okay. Also found out that an idiot could do this job if they just read it. So apparently I'm Floyd Mayweather. You know, say la vie, my nigga. Say la vie.
Well, shout out, squad. Those are my afterthoughts. I wanted to give more of a what do you call it? More of a outside perspective on things in the hood and how they see business perspectives and interacting in the corporate world and regular businesses. Those are two totally different beasts. So shout out to Symphonite for that perspective, and I'm about to pull up something I haven't showed y'all yet. Where we at? Come here. We're gonna go show y'all a special little thing real quick. Just wanted to let y'all know before we shut it down for the night. We have the merch store is up, y'all. We are up. Let me see. Pull this up. All right, the Classic Crush merch store is up and available. So y'all take a look. We got stickers, we have our bomber, we have our Chibi Cherry Tee, Classic Crush jacket. Oh man, it's so soft, much soft. That hooded sweatshirt is actually premium quality. I wore it earlier. I had to take it off because it was too warm. And we have some other merch that y'all would really, really love. And we'll have some more merch coming to the store soon. What I do is I collaborate with our subscribers and members for ideas and inspiration on what should be in the merch shop. So this is not just for me. This is basically the whole community coming together and giving us their feedback on what they'd like to see in the shop. So if you like anything, feel by visiting the merch store at Streamlabs, and any support is greatly appreciated. So before we go, I want to thank everyone for joining the stream and letting y'all know what is going on in the community as it relates to business. It's been about a couple of hours and we've been rolling. So I wanted to shut it down and thank y'all for joining the Vibez Lounge podcast tonight. Shout out to y'all. Salute, and we are